Hi, Bill Henshaw here again, your walking constitution on the San Francisco Peninsula. And have I got news for you? In the space of 24 hours, no less. My default judgment I got, I've been talking about that on earlier videos, multi-million-dollar default judgment against an attorney for a quote-unquote landlord in an unlawful detainer case. And, I was waiting for the order to be signed and everything, and I get word from the magistrate that I agreed to, quote unquote, that the case was being dismissed. And he said, whoa, wait a minute here. Case is being dismissed. Think about this one. Um, the bastard didn't show up in the trial court, certainly not in response to our 48-page unopposed motion to challenge jurisdiction. And that lived with a neutral judge like you're supposed to have in one of their courts, right? Their case gets dismissed with prejudice to the cause. They couldn't make out a case there. None of that happened. And that tells you, among other things, that you're not in a judicial court and that California is not a state. And to learn a lot more about those issues, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And all of it's true, and they know it. So in any case, this happens in the trial court, and I file in the federal court. And the way I did it, you'll learn more about what looks like on page 1 is civil rights action, not what it is. The other 35 pages say not so fast. We're in a federal district court, but we're invoking concurrent circuit court jurisdiction of a judicial court. We have the right to do that from day one. The bastard didn't respond to the complaint either. That's a double default. And I put in, a notice for default and an order to be signed. Simple. If the situation were reversed, that sure as hell would happen to you and me, wouldn't it? Pesky pro se litigants who file specious, frivolous papers. So anyway, I found out this goes away, and not only that, but the case got sealed. I've never heard of that before in the way it was done here. Sealed cases occur because you get people going private information they want to keep from public exposure if it's at all possible. Nothing wrong with that. For the government to do it at the instance of a purportedly neutral magistrate is going way too far. And what that's telling me and what it's telling you is I'm right about everything I'm saying. Can't be any other way. And that's why they don't want the public to see it. So I've done it right. I knew that going in. And I get dismissed on what's called the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. You're going to learn a whole hell of a lot more about that. That's the key to unlocking all of our rights with what they're doing with this bureaucratic BS. And I got that notice, and I sent a love letter in to the presiding judge demanding to know what the hell was going on. And I explained it to him in no uncertain terms, and I said, this is what you do. Just this week, I get a letter from the Oakland court replacing the case on the calendar and reassigning it to a different, well, they say different judge. It wasn't a judge in the first place, but different judge. When's the last time you ever heard of that happening? But it's supposed to be routine. Our relationship to our government official actors is principal and agent, not guardian and ward like they think it is. So I told them what to do, they did it. I think a big reason for that is what's happening in the U.S. Supreme Court into their third term, all-out assault on the administrative state. You'll learn more about that too. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And this stuff is good against any alphabet agency you care to name. IRS, DMV, SEC, Child Procurement Syndicate, maybe the most important one. They all operate on the same administrative principles. They act as judge, jury, and executioner. See you later. You don't have any rights. Out of there. The only problem is we have rights secured by all 6 articles of the Constitution and then some. And this is how we're going to get them. as my longtime friend Adam just had a similar event occur in the Supreme Court of the United States. And you can go to his website, thespiritoflaw.com, and learn all about that, where he filed an emergency petition. And, it did get there this time. The first time it didn't get past the clerk. Interesting story for another video. This one did, and it gets filed, I think, on a Monday. On Tuesday, Justice Kagan denies it, which she does not have the power to do, particularly being in the minority, because we're challenging the administrative state, and we have what looks like 5, if not 6 justices on our side here. They know. So she didn't have authority to do it. The case comes off the docket. Okay, the next day, by some miracle occurrence, the case is back on the docket, and they will be making a ruling. Now, on the shadow docket, quote unquote, you don't get a hearing, and I'd love to have one of those. But that said, if you're there unopposed, and he is, there's only one decision that they can make in an adversarial common law court. We're right and you're wrong. And that's what's going to happen here. It hasn't happened yet. There's no time frame for this, but it is on the docket and active. And that's another astounding feat. But it tells you people that we do have rights secured by the Constitution. Our lives are important. Our children's lives and our posterity is important. Exactly what the framers tried to do with the Constitution. Ordained and established to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We have an unprecedented window here with this conservative majority, notwithstanding the results of the recently fraudulent election, quote unquote, yet again. And you'll learn from me that there is no electorate, there are no elections. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. I'll tell you all about it and how to get my modestly priced constitutional defense documents and really be able to do something about it. And it doesn't matter who the hell it is on the other side. They had a court in Montana back in the day when they took the Constitution seriously. And the judge, in throwing out a criminal indictment for murder, said, and I quote here, "It's unfortunate that a murderer should go unwhipped of justice, but more unfortunate that a court without jurisdiction should exercise it." That's the original intent, because if you let courts, quote unquote, aka administrative tribunals, start to do that, where does it stop? Why and how? It overthrows the Constitution, and that's the right perspective. I'm sure it wasn't popular in its day for people who didn't have the perspective that I do, but it was the right decision then. It's the right one now. They don't have jurisdiction. They never have. Wow, that is just astounding to think about all this. But now we can prove it in black and white and in their faces. And I'm doing it a lot more pleasant than I did very recently, especially with local actors, because they're as ignorant as I once was at the age of 19, volunteered into the U.S. Marine Corps at the height of the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. How's that for ignorance? Still, they are also bound by this Constitution and laws enacted in pursuance thereof, and we damn well want them to start acting that way. That's the difference between the federated Republican form of government of defined and limited powers and what the Fifth Circuit Court has recently and accurately described our government as being an elective despotism. Boy, I wish I had coined that term. But that said, that's all it is. There's no elections. You elect them, I think they have all the power. There's not a damn thing you can do. And that's not how it was set up. And those 6 conservatives on the Supreme Court right now damn well know it. And I think we're going to get some serious relief here. It's been pretty good the last couple of terms. They're doing it a little slower than I like, waiting for the next quote unquote election in which Trump has already announced his intent to run again. Now, I wasn't without problems with the first administration, but certainly him putting those conservatives on the Supreme Court has got us going in the right direction the first time in 90 years. So if they win that quote unquote election, those conservatives are going to be there through the 2030s. And now they'll get much more serious about it. That's the exciting news. Hopefully, I'll be around to see it. I got a good 8 or 10 years given family history and the like. And with my excellent health, maybe longer than that. I don't know. But here I am, 74 now. Life is still ahead of me. That's how good all of this is. And to learn more about that, send me an email, uwinnincourt@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. As soon as we cut out all this divide and conquer bullshit they've been doing for the last 150 years, the quicker we get them off our backs. Thank you.